just
in Japan that wants to share ideas too. I encourage.
Come on, we all love it.
Oh yeah, get the second class tickets because they go on the same speed and they're just as good. And first class often is full of businessmen anyway. So.
And don't forget, if you went on the Shinkansen, it goes very fast. So definitely bring your camera for Mount Fuji pictures. But they're famous for bento boxes.
Oh yeah, and Eki means station, ben short for bento. It's very good. But when you get a ticket, what you said about Fuji, when you're getting the ticket, just know these English words. Fuji side. Fuji side. They hear you say Fuji or Fuji-sama
start work around 9, so get breakfast around your hotel around then, and then get on the train around like 9:30, 10, because then you won't be packed in. The subways too are amazing. I learned if you are on stop 11, it just goes in a circle, first of all. Second of all, just remember the station number you're at, and it will do the math for you. It's like, okay, you're at station 2, you're at station 11, don't get off the train until you're on station 11, like I accidentally did. But it's so cool, and if you get lost, someone will tell you, like, oh, I'm trying to find a stop. And I go, oh, just wait 3 more stops and then you're there. Your dice are cool. You'll be okay. But I just can't get over how fun everyone is in Japan. It's amazing. But any other questions or statements? Feel free. If not, I'm a little bit about how much I love Japan.
Yeah, in Japan, build the buildings. So I think the buildings are numbered in the order they're built, or when I think that's how it works.
Yes.
And so, like, building 52 will be next to building 10. And so there's no, so I'm trying to find the Apple building, where I want to go look at some computer stuff. So I walked around the block. I knew it was on this given block, and I walked around and I walked around. I couldn't find it. I was going crazy. So I saw a post office, and I thought, well, the post office delivers the mail.
Yes.
And so they will know where everything is. So I go in and I show them the address, and instantly about 5 people or 6 people get together in a little work group and they discuss it. And then they pick the most junior guy, the most like the Kohai guy, I guess, the most junior guy, and he's assigned to me, and he literally walks me around about a block or 2, and takes me right to the front of the building, and he goes, here it is. And it was really cool. I mean, and it was like, but they're very like, as you really pointed out, they're very kind, and they're, it's a wonderful place because and another thing too, because the Olympics are coming up, what we discovered the last time we were over there, I guess a year ago, they have people, like, if you stop and look confused in a train station, almost instantly people will come over and say, oh, in English, they'll say, can we help you, and give you directions or anything. And so they're gearing up, and they have multilingual guides and stuff that are there in the stations that are looking for people that are holding a map or something and looking confused. So it's really very non-threatening.
It's just amazing in the sense too, like, I looked like a fool walking back and forth through this one subway station because I didn't know where I was going, and I'm like, where am I? Oh my gosh. And my poor mom was like trailing behind me, and she's like, honey, I need to stop, this is too much. And I go, just let me ask someone where I'm trying to get to. Because once you get through the exit, they take your money like New York. You go beep, and then you go through. But I realized I was just walking back and forth, and all I had to do was walk this way and go up the staircase, go across the street, and go down the other subway to the other track. And I went, oh no, sorry, Mom. But it's amazing too, because a gentleman came up to me. He's like, I've been watching you go back and forth. Is everything okay? And I go, no, I'm lost. Please help me. And he was like, oh, okay. And he helped me get to the other side of the tracks. And I go, oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you so much. Because even if you look lost, they'll be like, oh, do you need help? Because they're that kind, and like they're that considerate. Like, they want you to enjoy your time in Japan and not get lost. And if you do, it's still an amazing experience. Like, I went to Mitaka, where Studio Ghibli Museum is, and I just walked around there for hours before I had gone to the museum. And people are like, oh, are you lost? And I go, no, I want to find Mr. Donuts. Is there one around here? And they go, oh, yes, it's right around the corner. What's your favorite flavor? And I go, the mochi one, of course. But everyone's just so kind in the sense of wherever you go. But I've noticed in Tokyo, everyone just is outstanding. Kyoto, I was too shy to speak Kansai Ben, in the sense of like, hey, yo, I'm here. But everyone is just so kind, and I can't get over that fact. It's outstanding. But I think the best time is don't get jet lagged, because that will really affect your trip in the end. Make sure you sleep on the plane. Any other wonderful statements or questions?
When do you we should go in terms of year? When in the year do you think?
What's your favorite season?
Winter.
Winter? Go for the fall then. I've been in the winter. It's very, 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 very cold. And Japanese housing is not insulated like America. So it would be very chilly inside your room as well. If you want to go, I'd recommend New Year's because, one, it's amazing to spend a New Year in a different country. Second of all, when else are you ever going to do that? And who knows, it might snow that night. It would be an amazing experience. Plus, if you go in the winter, you'll get Christmas cake. And you can get it discounted after the 25th. So, it's so good. It's so good. But if you love winter, definitely do that. But know that you will be limited in what you can do. Bring snowshoes. Bring proper shoes. Because if you do not bring proper shoes, you will get blisters. And blisters are the worst thing you can get in Japan. Don't do it. Don't limit yourself. Definitely winter. I personally love fall. I love the foliage. I went in November and it was the perfect time to go. I landed on Halloween, which was really cool. Japanese Halloween is very different than America's. It's very adult-like. And they go, oh, okay, there's no children with candy. But winter would be really fun too.
And where do you suggest going to visit places?
I'm a huge fan of old Japan. I only stayed 2 days in Kyoto, but I'm obsessed with it. I am obsessed with Kyoto. I love sweets. I love ice cream. And there's something about Japanese ice cream in Kyoto that I just go, oh, this is just literally my dream come true. They had black sesame with Kyoto honey, and they poured it all over, and the honey just became like a taffy. Oh, dreams. So good. But I love Kyoto. I've only been to Kyoto, Osaka, and Tokyo, unfortunately. But in this November, I'm actually going to go in the mountains. I'm doing a Buddhist day. I'm doing everything I couldn't do while I was there with family. And there's nothing wrong with that, but my mother was too worried about me going at night, and she didn't want me to get murdered. And I go, this is the safest country in the entire world. Why? But I didn't want to make her worry, so I'm like, okay. But definitely, in the sense, if you're going to Japan, choose a season you like. Sakura, which the cherry blossom season, is the most popular season. So just know, if you're going to buy your ticket, please, please, please buy that in advance. Because if you try to buy it 3 months in advance, you're going to start paying thousands and thousands of dollars. And I bought my tickets to Japan for less than $600.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah.
You know, we got one cheap flight to Japan once because there was some kind of a deal to fly to Seoul, Korea. There was a new nonstop from Austin, so we flew to Seoul and spent a couple days, took their fast train down to Busan, took the ferry over, because we figured Korea and Japan have been invading each other for hundreds of years. They got to be close. And that was interesting because we ended up in Fukuoka. If anyone's seen Excel Saga, that F city, it was Fukuoka.
Oh, really?
All the characters like Excel. There's an Excel hotel. There's a palazzo,
so cute.
the palace. So you can walk around Fukuoka spotting the hotel names and know where the character names came from. And we were there on the second day of the sumo tournament, which in Fukuoka, which isn't as crowded as Tokyo, but it was amazing because you can get a cheap ticket and sit up in the upper seats, and because it was the beginning of the tournament, we were able to move down into the more expensive seats, and this group of Japanese businessmen kind of adopted us because they had a box seat, and
so cool.
and they had us cheering for their favorite people with our terrible accents, so there was some drinking involved.
They love drinking.
Well, they can't drink ringside because you got to be able to get out of the way when the sumo guys are thrown out of the ring. So they had ringside seats, and they also had box seats away. So, you know, things like that you wouldn't really think of, but now we've become real sumo fans because you can watch all the pageantry that goes on besides just the pushing part.
That's so cool.
One thing I was going to say, since y'all are here, you're probably manga fans. When you walk into a Japanese bookstore, you understand what it's like to be illiterate. It's very humbling. You don't know how it's organized. The books are arranged not in alphabetical order, but by a distributor name.
And
So if you're interested, make a copy of the series that you're reading, take a picture on your phone, go up to somebody and say, Doko desu ka? Where is this? Because they will take you right there. And so it's a more of experience to if you're following something, just go in. Oh, and we had one friend that went crazy at Book Off, which is a low-cost book place,
Book Off is
on the
great.
first day of her trip. So she was lugging a suitcase of manga everywhere. Reverse that. Buy it at the end. You know, think.
It's true. Also, the least luggage you can bring, the better.
Exactly.
Because it's so, if you decide to bring like 16 pairs of clothes and 20 pairs of shoes, you have to lug that upstairs.
Yeah. We travel with one pair of shoes. That way you never lose them because they're on your feet.
And you won't leave them at the hotel.
Right. And if you can avoid it, I know some people are in school and the only time you can travel is the summer. It's very sticky in Tokyo and Japan.
I'd rather just go to Okinawa at that point.
Yeah, or go to Hokkaido, go somewhere north. But the fall is wonderful. It's
The
usually
fall
when we
is
go.
amazing.
If you're there over New Year's, if you're near a temple, they ring the bell 108 times to get rid of the 108 attachments or whatever. I don't know.
It's so beautiful.
It's really kind of fun. And then the first day of the year, everyone goes to the temple to start the year off right. So being aware of some of their seasonal festivals are great. If you go to Hiroshima, which a lot of people do, they are famous for their okonomiyaki.
Yes.
Hiroshima style. There's a whole building called Okonomiyaki Mura, Mura meaning building. So yes, go and see the Peace Memorial and all that stuff. It's quite moving, but then eat.
Yes, treat yourself.
Yeah.
You'll literally eat the best food you ever can in Japan, and take every single picture. Like, I have pictures of cake, and I just look at it and I go, I ate you, and I miss you. Yes.
All right, so speaking of food in Japan, how much do you need to budget for meals? Do you need to go to expensive places to have nice food? Where do you get the best food?
I've literally anywhere. My mom kept saying, oh, we need a lot of money, and I go, Mom, you can get sushi for 75 cents per plate on rotating bars. And she went, what? I don't get it. And I go, food in Japan is so accessible. You can eat at konbini for less than $10, and you have food for the entire week. It's amazing. Compared to American meals, I just spent, $80 on my meal for my friends last night? That can get you so much food in Japan. Plus, it's all portion sized, so when you eat it, you're completely full, and you won't need to eat until you literally walk, 10,000 steps, which you'll do that in 5 minutes. So, and I mean, when I was in Japan, I lost 25 pounds, and I did not stop eating. I ate whatever I wanted, but because of all the walking, I lost weight. And I think the budget for wise, if you want to treat yourself, like my treat in Japan, I always go to the Tokyo Hyatt Hotel to the Lost in Translation bar. That's my favorite bar in the entire world. The drinks there are $20 per drink. So I know I'm going to drink at least 3 Lost in Translation drinks. It's amazing, but in the sense, I'll only bring $60 to $80, and then that's it. Don't order food there, it's expensive. But you can eat anywhere on the street, and it's less than $5, $10 per meal. Unlike America, my lunch is like, 12 to 15? But if you're gonna treat yourself, Google, there's this YouTube series, I need to remember it, but he'll tell you like where to eat, how much you should bring, and that really helped me in a sense, but I only brought like $300, $500 for meals, and I left still having, $150, $200? So in the end, I barely even spent any of my yen on food. And I ate a lot of food. Just go to my Instagram, it was crazy. Yes.
Did you ever go to any of the festivals while you were there?
No, I've wanted to. I'm really sad I wasn't able to. I am going, though, in the fall with my boyfriend. No, it's not Girls' Day. We're going to definitely a festival because we're going basically the entire month of November, and then we're coming back for Thanksgiving. But I go, but you have Thanksgiving off. Why can't we just have fried chicken in Japan? Like, come on, KFC, bro. But I really want to go to, it's the festival where The Festival of Fertility. I think that's really cool in the sense, like they celebrate that, and I go, yes, woohoo. But my boyfriend was like, I don't know if I feel comfortable going to this. But I'm like, come on, like if I live there, I want to experience all the festivals. It looks really cool. But out of all like the temples, Sensoji Temple is like my favorite place. It's so cool. But I need to go to more festivals. I want to experience like the festivities and like the excitement. Plus, I want to go to stands and eat mochi and like catch a goldfish. I want to live that anime life. Like, it's so cool. And I go, man, I wish America had this. Like, we have fairs, which is, you know, great and everything, but we don't have anything like festivals to like acknowledge our heritage and where we came from, except like holidays. But I want to go to a festival, specifically the fertility one. I think it's so cool. Come on up here.
So I know you haven't personally been to one, but do you think with those festivals, it's accepted for you to go as a foreigner, or is there very like, this is kind of for us, so you need to kind of like know what you're doing, and it's sort of awkward to be there?
I do think you should do your research of which festival you want to go to, so you don't do anything appropriate. You want to respect their festival as well, but I think you should be allowed to go. I mean, we are foreigners in a sense, but we're experiencing something we can't experience in America. And that itself is a privilege. So don't go wearing like, you know, a racist shirt or like slang, but go wearing like a yukata. Go try, you know, wearing something comfortable and have a great time. But I don't think you shouldn't be allowed to go, because if you weren't allowed to go, it wouldn't be a festival. You should celebrate. But definitely do research of which one you want to go to first and know what's right and wrong. If you're especially going for New Year's, research how many times to ring the bell, when you should pray, when you should throw the money in to the donations. Like, it's very important, because you don't want to make a fool of yourself. But that is a very good question too. But definitely don't limit yourself. Go and enjoy.
Follow-up question. I know it's stereotypical, but I really want to go to the Cherry Blossom Festival.
Go.
Is that easy to schedule around, or does it kind of like...
Definitely look, my favorite website is japanguide.com. It will teach you like a few months prior when the blossoms are supposed to bloom. I made a huge noob mistake this year, and I planned my trip in March. The blossoms bloom in April. So definitely know that, because I'm a fool, but hey, I didn't go in the end. But definitely also bring your own blanket to sit down in. Go to the konbini store and buy sake if you're of age, and invite people who are walking to be like, oh, would you like to sit here with me and enjoy the cherry blossoms? Because it's just a moment. Like, cherry blossoms represent life in the sense of they go by so quickly. So if you meet people, just like, oh, let's have fun together. And they do have like little karaoke machines they bring. So just know that if you're of age, you will get drunk, because they're very polite and they keep refilling your sake bowl, and you don't know how much you've drank, and you go, I had 16 bottles. But definitely treat yourself to the Sakura Festival. But do know you have to get a seat, so get there early. And I mean, if you can get there when the park ride opens, why not? Just start and get a bento box, eat breakfast under the cherry blossoms, and breathe in the fresh air and realize I'm in Japan. This is a once-in-a-life experience. Like, treat yourself. Thank you so much.
So as far as going up in the mountains and stuff, Takayama is a really beautiful little town that's that used to have a rickety little train station. It obviously has been discovered by Japanese tourists, I guess, because it's got a really new train station now. But they've got a morning market, and it's just one stop from Hida Furukawa, which is inspiration of a lot of the settings in Your Name. So if you've been intrigued with that beautiful scenery in that little town, That train station he stops in, they have a bowl there because he does famous for their beef. And so we took a picture by the same thing that he was standing next to in the anime, you know, anime tourism, why not?
Why not? Treat yourself.
But on a more, and also my husband was telling me that the little train ride from Nagoya up to Takayama is gorgeous. It's a little narrow gauge train and it's going through a gorge, so it is gorgeous, along a river. Duh. And they have some of that distinctive housing that you see with the thatched roofs.
Yes.
Like a sort of old style, you know, they moved a bunch of houses to a park so that you can go see them all. And when you're in Japan, you mentioned there's good food at the convenience store, the convenies. Also 7 & I, which is like 7-Eleven.
Yes.
They have ATMs. That's where you
get your money
out of, you know, you put in your ATM and you get money. And you can buy cup noodles, and they have hot water dispensers, and it's everything in Japan is set up for the convenience of the user, not the corporations.
Yes.
To me, that's the biggest change from America.
It's true. Like when I go to 7-Elevens here, I just get offended. And I go, this is not what I want, this is not what I deserve, and this is not convenient at all. Yes.
You mentioned earlier comfortable shoes and wear a yukata if you go to a festival, but just on the streets of Japan, is it possible to dress too American, or is there, I mean, what do you need to be aware of when you're out on the streets in Japan?
Well, don't wear anything with slang. I enjoy English, but you don't want to wear like cowboy boots. You will get blisters. Go for something that's comfortable for you, because in the end, you're literally probably going to wear this outfit for 12 hours walking. And my mom made a huge mistake. She brought like not enough warm clothing. We were there in the fall and she was so cold, but she couldn't buy any clothes because Japanese are very small. They do have Marshmallow Girl clothes, which is plus size to them, which I'm very proud of them now. But she had a very difficult time. She went, I regret bringing not enough clothes. She only brought like a few outfits and they weren't warm enough. So in the end, wear something that's most comfortable to you. What you wear in the sense is important. Like, you don't want to feel embarrassed. Also, if you're a woman, don't show cleavage. Like, this is a very respectable area. You show leg. They'll appreciate that more. Like, don't show this. Plus, it's not comfortable and you get a lot of stares. Yes.
I was actually going to comment on that, but there's also a lot of blogs on YouTube that talk about traveling to Japan. I know I'm subscribed to, if any of you guys have heard of Kim Dow, she's a good one. Lately she's been doing a lot more clothes, but going back to the KFC thing, I took Japanese classes and my senseis were telling me that like around Christmas time, for some reason, they think, yeah, that, and they think that KFC is like the Christmas dinner.
Yes.
And it's hilarious.
You have to make reservations. Like, sometimes you have to make reservations for your family to get a bucket of chicken. And special holiday wrapping.
Yeah, I did not hear that, but that is very interesting. But
It's so beautiful.
But you know, my sensei's telling us this in like a class full of like Americans, and we're all just like, what? Like usually we're like fighting for turkey and ham for like Christmas and Thanksgiving, but here they are eating like KFC.
And it tastes different there too.
No
like
way.
It does. Like, it's crazy to me. Like, America KFC is like greasy and heavy. Theirs is like lightly fried, like tempura style. And when you bite into it, it's just crisp. And I go, this is too good. What? This should be illegal. It's so good. So, but yeah, you have to make reservations for KFC Christmas dinners. It's crazy. And it's so yummy. Treat yourself also to a McDonald's ebi fry, which is a shrimp fry sandwich. It changed my life in McDonald's. And I went, I hate McDonald's, but this is the best sandwich I've ever eaten from this franchise. And they don't sell it in America. Stupid.
So yeah, if you happen to have like Japanese friends or friends who are really immersed in Japanese culture, cherish them. They will save your life.
Yes.
How long would you recommend staying in Japan?
Forever. I made a mistake the first time I went, And I only went for 5 days, and my friends were jet lagged 3 out of the 5 days, and one of them caught a cold. And I went, I love you, but I'm doing my own thing. Sorry. But I recommend at least a week and a half. If you can do 2 to 3 weeks, even a month, do it. I was planning to go to Japan by myself when I was 20 something, and my mother got very uncomfortable in the sense, she's like, you're traveling alone. And I go, I'm fine. But as fate had it, 2 days before my flight, the tsunami crashed and the earthquake happened. And my mom went, this is a sign you're not supposed to go. And that was the most money I've ever spent on a trip by myself, and I couldn't even go. So that really hurt in the sense, because I couldn't get a refund out of anything. But I went, they need that money more than me, so please keep it. I highly recommend, if you can get a month off work, which is extremely difficult, do it. When else are you gonna go? Try, just do it. But at least a week and a half to 2 weeks, because then you can see Kyoto, you can see Tokyo for like 3 days, Tokyo Disney, all that jazz. But yeah, at least a week and a half, 2 weeks.
So as far as like housing, like whenever you choose a place to stay over there, what should you be looking for, or what should you expect whenever you do find a place to stay over there, or I guess what are the customs to be aware of?
Definitely bring a small suitcase. My friend made a huge mistake and brought her enormous suitcase full of clothes because she had to look good. But her enormous suitcase took up the entire room. And I went, where am I supposed to put my stuff? Okay, but in the end, bring small stuff. If you can have a backpack full of clothes, do it. It's worth it. Capsule hotels are really fun and cheap. You can stay at a manga cafe overnight if you drink too much. I actually stayed at a hostel. The Sakura Hotel hostels, they're 24 hours. They have a cafe. You can eat there. And they're in convenient areas. I stayed in the Jimbocho Sakura Hotel, and they are very small and they have shared bathrooms, but I didn't care. It was $75 a night compared to staying at the Tokyo Park Hyatt Hotel, which is $850 per night. And I went, I want to go there one day though. But definitely find something that works for you. Agoda, I booked a lot of my hostels and such. Capsule hotels are great. But if you are traveling with friends, definitely get together and get a hotel room if you can, because then you can just have one place and just keep on going. But if it's just you, capsule hotels are the way to go. They're like $12 a night.
Yeah.
And it comes with a hot spring, a bath, and it's amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, we've stayed in a lot of hostels. We sleep on the floor. Sometimes the futons aren't as soft as you would like, but there's usually an extra one in the closet. So you can just sort of put the extra foam under there if it takes you a while to get used to the floor. Hana Hostel is one. J Hoppers is another.
Yes, J Hoppers is really good.
And they're around the country, so if some of them you get a little card and you get stamps and get a free night somewhere.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
there's Budget Ryokan in Kyoto, which is, it's got some capsules, it's got 2 people rooms, you can share bathrooms, there's like a common area, they've got a refrigerator and a microwave and a hot water dispenser. So, I mean, people look at us like, how can you travel in Japan? It's so expensive. It's like, I guess we're really cheap, because I think Europe's more expensive than Japan.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saved so much money in Japan just staying at hostels and capsule hotels. In Europe, I was there for a whole month. And I think that trip was over like $5,000, $6,000. In Japan, yeah, I do too. But Japan, my money lasted longer, and I knew what I wanted to do with it. But versus Europe, I went, I'm wasting so much money. And the food here is great, but come on. I ain't got money for this. I'm not made of cash. I'm not a tree flowing with money.
Have you ever been to an onsen?
Yes.
Is it great?
Yes. I'm a real weeb. Cause Because my girlfriends never went to one before, and I went, oh, guys, we have to get naked. And she goes, I don't want to. And I go, well, then you're not going to really truly experience this. We went to Hakone, which I didn't realize is famous for Evangelion, and I'm obsessed with Evangelion. So I walk by and I go, wait, am I in the city where Shinji lives? And they go, oh, yes, we're famous for it. And I go, oh, my God, it's fate. But the onsens there, they're famous for. You can get a ticket and go stay there for a few days. I made a mistake and only went there for half a day. But you can get a ticket, and you get access to all the onsens. You'll be so relaxed to the point where you're like, oh, this is what true heaven feels like. And if you're of age, after you get out of the hot spring, you should be drinking beer or sake. And I drink beer because Misato Katsuragi is my girl. And in the end, I went, oh my gosh, like, this is literally everything I needed out of my life. This is true heaven. Plus, there, like Odaiba's famous, and there's one where it's like a hot springs resort where you can get coffee baths and wine baths, and they throw wine and coffee at you, and you're just like, oh, yes. But I haven't gone to that yet, but I am going this fall. But it's really crazy in the sense because the onsens have minerals that are good for your skin, they replenish you, and we have like something like that here in Texas. We have Keen Spa and Spa Castle, but they have onsens in the sense of like little baths, but they're inside, and they have saunas. But in Japan, like onsens, please treat yourself and go to one, and then stay at a ryokan where you get the full meal experience, and you go, I'm so happy I could die, but don't die, don't die, but it's just, once you go, it will be a memory you'll never forget. Like, I made my mom go to an onsen, but it was actually a bathhouse in Kyoto. She's never been to before, and she's like, I don't feel comfortable. And I go, Mom, no one cares. No one cares you're naked. They're here for one thing, to relax. So you need to do the same. And my mom told me that experience literally changed her life in the sense of how she felt about her body, how she felt about herself. She went, I feel beautiful. And I'm like, you are beautiful. And if that can change your aspect in the sense of going to a hot spring and getting out of there going, I am beautiful, I am confident, and I am relaxed as hell, you're doing something right. But definitely treat yourself to an onsen, the outdoor experience one, where you can sit in an oak tub and watch the leaves fall. That's what I did, and I went, oh my gosh, like, I was trying not to cry, and I went, this is so beautiful. And you'll never get that experience in America. Like, treat yourself, go to an onsen and relax. I wish I could live one. I want to live at an onsen ryokan.
Have you ever had an experience with a tour group?
No, my mom really wanted us to get one, but I went, no, I got this. But in the fall, I am doing a tour group of Osaka, because I was only there for one night, and it was a really, really bad night, in a sense for like my mom and my grandma. But for me, it was okay. But I definitely recommend a tour group if you can afford it.
Yeah, I was thinking about it as it's basically as the first step, you know, before doing anything really adventurous on your own, especially if you have, for instance, mobility problems or something along those lines.
That's true. Definitely do that, but also try to go to a tour group that actually takes stops. Nothing frustrates me more than you're just on a bus and you never get off. And you go, but I want to experience this. So Japan Guide has a lot of them where you can book it in advance and they tell you, we go here, we get off the bus, we have a lunch. Definitely look into those too. Great question. Any others? We have about 10 minutes left, so come up.
You mentioned nightlife in Tokyo. What are some tips on experiencing the nightlife? Is Shibuya as crazy as it looks in the animes?
Yes, Shibuya Crossing is outstanding. If you get there at 6 a.m., it'll be quiet. 6:30, oh my gosh, it's so crazy. I have been to Shibuya for the nightlife, and I got a little, am I allowed to say drunk? I got a little drunk, and I ate all you can eat, okonomiyaki, and I regret nothing. But in the end, Shibuya is great, Roppongi is great, Ginza is famous too. I'm missing one. Ikebukuro. Like, it depends if you like clubbing, if you like drinking, if you like dancing. There's so many types of nightlife. There's even a robot cafe where you can go and like support robots fighting. But I love robots, so I don't want them to get hurt. But it really depends what you like doing best. I love eating and drinking, so Shibuya was my choice of life. And plus, there are cat cafes too there. But in the end, it depends how much do you want to drink that night. If you miss your train, don't go on a taxi. They're very, very expensive. And I made that drunken mistake going, "Oh, onegai shimasu." And then I get my bill and I go, "Oh no, desu." No, but what's great about them is you can they accept like your Metro Pass if you keep refilling it with money, but always carry cash on you so you can give them the right amount. Yes.
I was going to say Shibuya was another one where they have this place that's about maybe 2 blocks away from the station called Genki Sushi.
Yeah, I went.
Yeah, it rocks. What it is they have, you go in and you sit down and they have like you can pour yourself some hot tea, and they have these 2 or 3 little rails, and they have iPads there, and you can pick what kind of sushi, and the sushi is, what would you say, like 75 cents
yes,
to like
it's so cheap.
$2
It's like
maybe?
$2 per plate. It's cheaper than Kula.
Well, it's amazing, yeah. And like everybody I think knows about these kaiten sushi things where you have little boats or a little train that goes around that takes the plates of sushi
It's so
by.
cute.
Well, this is better than that because you have an iPad and there are guys in the back. So you say, oh, I want one of those and one of these and one of these, and you push go, and it sends the order electronically back to the kitchen, and then this little like a high-speed Shinkansen of sushi comes shooting out, and it stops right in front of you, and you take the plate off, and you push the button. It says push the button in many languages, and it shoots back to the kitchen, and you eat that, and it's just like, and it keeps bringing it. You know what I mean? In other words, you pick what you want,
I want
and they
sushi
have.
now.
And it's just amazing, and it's very inexpensive, so you can go and have a killer meal there and be totally full
Yes.
for probably about, what would you say, $15, $10?
Yeah. Oh gosh, you can eat for days there and you're
Yeah.
not break the bank.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I really want sushi now because whenever I go to Kula Sushi, I look at my bill and I go, this is so expensive. Why?
Yeah,
But in Japan, that sushi is,
yeah.
revolving sushi is amazing.
Yeah. And I would say the other thing too regarding food is I don't think I've ever had any bad food in Japan. I mean, we go in little hole-in-the-wall ramen shops where you got a thing of ramen for like 490 yen or something like that, and it's good. And like we'll look and see where workmen go. Like you see these guys in these sort of workman outfits with the little boots with the tabi toes and stuff, and we'll follow them, and they'll at lunchtime, and you'll find some place that's economical and good. And
Yeah.
it's all good.
It's-
And your point about walking around. Japan didn't really have wheels for a long time. Like they didn't go through the car and cart revolution. So everything was horses or walking, and so they're very pedestrian oriented. And so you will walk and walk and walk and walk and walk, and they have lots of stairs too. So
The only thing
hilly country.
that was hard for me and my grandmother is she can't really walk, so we brought a wheelchair, but her back is in so much pain. Japan is lovely. They have those dots on the road for blind people, and I think that's amazing, but it was pointless bringing a wheelchair because she couldn't even go in it because it was So if you are disabled, please do research. Tokyo will hurt your back. Yes.
I don't know if you've already said this, but like, what would be like your minimum to go into Japan, at least for like 2 weeks, and where would you get the little cards that you keep saying? Would it be like at the convenience or?
Like budget-wise and like the pass. You buy the pass. Actually, I have the Passmo, and it's valid for 10 years. Never waste your money on like a metro ticket in a sense, because you can refill this for 10 years. It's valid money, and you can use it at vending machines, like taxi drivers, restaurants. It's amazing. As long as you say, oh, do you accept Passmo? And if they don't, have cash or use your debit card. Every time I go to Japan, I know I'm a foodie, I love food, no one will stop me except me. And I always know I'm gonna eat a lot of food and I wanna buy clothes. So I always bring at least $2,000 to $3,000, but I know I keep half of it in American dollars because you can go to the post office and exchange it. Nothing is worse than exchanging too much money because sometimes our dollar can be weaker than the yen or the yen can be stronger. So in the end, you don't want to waste all your money exchanging it, and then you come back and you go, well, I had $3,000, but and I only have 1,000 because of the exchange rate. So please look at that before you even think of exchanging. But budget-wise, look at how much you eat per day, look at where you want to go and what you want to buy, how much it costs, and making a plan accordingly. That's a great question. Yes?
I have two questions.
Yes.
About how much Japanese would you recommend learning being able to speak and read before you go? And is sort of our concept of as Americans of Japanese food pretty accurate, do you think, if you're like a fan of the culture? Or if I go and I order something, will it be like, what is this?
That happened to me, actually. Wait, say your first question again. I'm old.
How much Japanese should I know to read and talk?
And then, okay. So when I first went, I didn't really speak Japanese in the sense of no one speaks it with me, so I kept forgetting it. But throughout the week, I'm like, okay, I'm picking it back and back and back again. You really need to learn where's the bathroom, how much does this cost, where is this place. Those 3 phrases will get you by. But in Tokyo, everything has English underneath it. So like if you're on a railway station and you don't know this kanji, they have the station name in English. But if you go, say, in the country, like Kyoto and Osaka, you'll be less and less. So definitely bring, if you can, your phone with Google Translate. I know there's an application now where you can put your phone up and it'll translate it awfully, but hey, at least you get by. But as long as you know those 3 phrases, it's good. Japanese food in America, the only legit places I found here in Dallas is Mikasa Sushi and Mr. Max and Eno Japanese Restaurant. Those are the only 3 here. When I went to Japan with my grandma, she's a tempura addict. She loves tempura. Tempura in America is a lie. There's no broccoli. There's no broccoli in Japan. They don't fry that. You eat it raw. But my grandma goes, she ordered tempura and she gets it and it's all these vegetables she doesn't like. And she goes, where's the broccoli? And I go, Grammy, no, we're in Japan. Like, they don't do that here. And she goes, but can you please order it for me? And I go, I can't, because it's rude to not eat your food. So I literally ate her food. But my grandma hates Japanese food in the sense of she always thinks it's raw fish. And I go, Grandma, teriyaki chicken, like, you love this, you love meat, you love beef. But it was really hard eating with her because we'd go to McDonald's, we'd go to Korean barbecue, and I tried to make her happy, like, what do you want to eat, Grammy? I need to feed you. I don't want you to die on this trip. Please eat. But she became obsessed with convenience food, and she was obsessed with corn chowder, the kind you can get in it, and she asked me, can we please bring this home with us? So I brought an entire suitcase full of corn chowder home. But American Japanese food, it just bothers me. It's not the real thing. But except those 3 restaurants, I highly, highly, highly recommend those. But every time I go to Japan, I'm like, this is what real Japanese food is, because it's portion controlled. America loves big plates full of food. And I go, but this can feed 6 people. I need to feed it just me. Okay. But definitely those 3 restaurants, check them out. They're like my jam. And if you see me there, just don't judge me because I'll be eating a lot of food. Any other last minute questions? We have about 2 minutes left. So lightning round.
I was going to say one of the things that we found very useful, it's a little expensive, is we got a wireless hotspot in Japan. We rented it there. because it's on their network. And we found it to be unbelievably blazing fast. I mean, this hotspot was connected to their cellular network, and it was faster than the internet that most of us have ever experienced here in the United States. It is out of this world. So you're walking along with this thing in your backpack, and your phone will work. In other words, you'll be Wi-Fi connected to the world. You can look at exchange rates. You can get Google Maps. You can do Google Translate, which is very convenient.
Yeah. Don't get roaming. You'll get roaming charges, and they really add up.
You'll get roaming charges, but if you're Wi-Fi connected, you can Skype people. So if you want to call Japanese folks that you know there, you can do Skype out, put a few bucks and Skype out. Let's see, anything else?
It's just over time. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. It's $10. It's so cheap. Don't get the chip.
You don't need to know Japanese to go. Just the fact you're here, you know enough Japanese. Don't wait to learn the language. Just go. The first time we went, we didn't know anything. I think I knew how to say eki, which was station, and domo arigato, which, being able to say thank you will get you a lot. But we wanted to go to Kamakura. We knew it was on the bus line. This was a long time ago. They didn't actually have English letters. So we were standing on the station, and the Japanese person next to me, I just said, Kamakura, with a question mark, and he pointed, and we realized it was 5 stops. So we just got off at the 5th stop. We had a map of Kamakura. We didn't know enough Japanese to know we were holding the map upside down. We did find the big Buddha. We never found the coastline. Every time somebody tells us Kamakura is a seaside town, we never found the ocean, but we did find a lot of parts of Kamakura. And then we finally wanted to get back to the station. I just we got on a bus. I held out a handful of coins and said, Eki? And they took the coins they needed and dropped us at the train station. So
it's so nice.
Don't be afraid.
Don't stop yourself.
Oh, yeah. You can make mistakes in Japanese and they will forgive you.
They will. They're so nice and kind. Like, my friend was trying to order a Happy Meal because she wanted the toy in McDonald's, and she kept saying, I'd like to order a bicycle. And I went, what are you saying? No. But she went, oh. But the cashier went, but we don't have that. We don't have that. And I went, honey, what are you trying to order? She goes, kids meal. And I go, okay, I got you. And the cashier just went, it was so cute. But we are out of time. If you have any refrigerator questions, you can email me at natalie@nataliehoover.com. I have Twitter too. But thank you all so much for coming. And I really hope you do go to Japan. Please treat yourself. It will be the best experience you'll have your entire life. But thank you for waking up this morning and joining me. And I'm off to autographs. Thank you so much. Stay hydrated and sleep for your entire week because conventions are tiring.